Hey y'all, welcome back to Dots and Beyond. My name is Beth, and today we are setting up September in my bullet journal with a Hermanus Whale Festival theme. We are going to jump right into it this month because I needed a setup that was a little bit quicker, but I still wanted to get that whale watching whale festival theme in here. And Hermanus is located off of the Cape in South Africa. So I have chosen several markers that are all in the colors of the South African flag. It's all going to be very primary, sort of just color in the lines, and nothing really fancy for this setup. No surprise, I do have a stencil handy for the font that I'm going to use on this particular setup, and we are going to go ahead and stencil in the September header really quickly. What I have done on this spread is sort of draw the bay of Hermanus along with the September header and a calendar on the right and a whale tail sticking up out of the water. While all of these things come together, let me tell you a little bit about the Hermanus Whale Festival. Now, this all stems from the story of Wendy the whale, who sometime in the 1930s got herself beached on the shores of Hermanus, which is a small fishing village in South Africa, and the townspeople came together to help release her back into the sea. 2022 is going to be the 31st year of this particular festival. In addition to whale watching, there is an eco-marine village, musical performances, food and wine shows, a street parade, and a whole lot more. And while I might have been raised in Kenya, I have actually never been to South Africa, so the Hermanus Whale Festival outside of Cape Town is now on my travel to-do list. And here we have a Dots and Beyond feline sighting as Faramir comes into the screen for a little bit of a cuddle. The star of the Hermanus Whale Festival is the southern right whale, which is found throughout the southern hemisphere. It is listed as endangered. Southern right whales have a stocky black body, often with white belly and chin patches, and a large head covered in callocytes. They do not have a dorsal fin, and they have wide paddle-shaped flippers. They range in length between 43 to 56 feet and weigh up to 176,000 pounds. While also at the Whale Festival, you might spot one of these whale criers and their crazy horns, and I wanted to pay homage to these whale criers with their hats and their horns down in this bottom right corner. I had so many different medium ideas for this particular cover page. I thought about using gouache paints and doing a full sort of panoramic view of the bay. I also thought about making it a little more pastel or lighter colored of a wash by just using some colored pencils. Ultimately, like I said, I wanted a very quick setup for this month. I'm changing things up quite a bit as we move through the next few pages, and that is why I decided to just go ahead and use marker, keep it to the primary colors of the South African flag, and really not do anything extraordinary in regards to shading. It's all pretty flat and just the colors. I do not add anything to these mountains of the bay. They're just left the way they are, and I like it. I love the way that it turned out. I love the fact that it's not too complicated, and I still get the feel of the Whale Festival without going into too much detail. Now, I have had this calendar stencil for quite some time that kind of lays out 4x4 squares for a calendar. I haven't used it that often because they actually don't line up, and I have to shift the squares just a little bit every time I draw a new one, and that's why I haven't used this very often, but I thought I would break it out for this particular setup. I did smudge some of the blue marker as I was using it on the stencil, and then it transferred to the page, and I just left it. I didn't try to clean any of that up. I figured I would probably make a bigger mess of it if I tried to fix it than if I just left it alone. And that will wrap up my much simplified cover page for September with line drawings and just a few things colored in. On the next page, we're going to snap in the headers because you don't need to see me stencil those in again. And what I have done on this page is on the left side of the spread, I do have my standard mini calendar and then a place for dates and goals and projects. On the right, I do have space for a small to-do list, but then I've moved my end of month review here, and I've done that for a very specific reason. You'll see when we get to my weeklies and my dailies. I just wanted to get them off of the end of my monthly spread and here at the beginning. And again, I'm sticking with very simple line drawings, putting a mother southern right whale down here at the bottom along with her baby. In drawing these, I just wanted to get the basic shape of a southern right whale down, as well as indicate that they are underwater, and I just did that with a few little blue lines, as opposed to try to color anything and make it look like an ocean theme. Now for the bullet points on this, I was going to use part of this percentage sign here and make this weird oblong looking circle. In the meantime, after I originally sketched this in, I purchased some of the dot markers and I completely abandoned my idea of coloring in this weird oblong shape in lieu of using the new dot markers. This is the brand that I picked up. I got them from Amazon and I will link them with the rest of the supplies in the description box below. And it definitely made this process go much, much faster. And then I realized there was no green from the flag on this particular spread, and I decided to add a little touch of that to the boat, and that will wrap up this page. Next up, we are moving on to trackers, as well as what I have been doing as far as a Skillshare class notes and TED Talk notes. And again, I've already put those headers in here. The right side of this spread really is very simple, with a large area for me to take notes for a Skillshare class, and then 4 different spots on the right for me to watch a TED Talk every week and take notes there. And then here on the right, I'm going to draw in a set of binoculars, which you would definitely need if you were whale watching. Not the greatest sort of drawing of binoculars on the planet, but I think it gets the point across. For this setup, I will have 4 monthly style trackers at the top, and then down on the bottom I'll track blood pressure, steps, mood, and sleep. And I did put sleep twice, so we are going to use just this white post-it note and just the sticky section of this white post-it note to cover this up. I just cut a little piece off. It was the closest thing I had at hand. I could have used some more dot grid paper, I could have used some whiteout, but that was the closest thing I had, and so I just grabbed it and fixed that little section to say steps instead of sleep. So on the far left of this graph, I have 2 spaces where I can record a blood pressure. Next to that, I have a frowny face on one side and a smiley face on the other for a scale of 5 dot grids. In regard to mood, steps in the 10,000s are listed in the middle section, and then on the right is the sleep log. What I've done differently this time was put a dotted line on the 10 p.m. and a dotted line on the 6 a.m. as that should be the ideal sleeping hours for my 8 hours a night, that I should be going to bed by 10 and getting up at 6. And of course I have the dates and the days of the week down the middle of the page between the sections. Now again, I was going to use the same oblong oval from my stencil to go ahead and put in the bubbles on the monthly trackers, which are Move, Stretch, Meditate, and No Soda. And I completely abandoned those as well, and I am using the dot marker in yellow to go ahead and fill in those months, and then I will just put a black X inside the yellow circle for each one of those that I finish. Now I did want to get in a little bit of artwork, but nothing fancy on this page, and so I chose to do a wine bottle as well as some musical instruments to indicate that the Hermanus Whale Festival also has all of these other things going on, like a food and wine festival and music performances as well. Touch those off with a little bit of color, but not a whole lot, and that will be it for this setup. Now, one of the reasons that I moved my monthly review to this front section where our artwork and color is because from this point forward in the rest of September, I am going back to a very simple monthly and daily layout where I have a weekly task list that I'm going to put here on the left, which is a rolling weekly task list. And then I'm starting a header on the right for Monday, and then I will just do what I need to do or write in what I need to write in for Monday on a daily, and then start Tuesday after it, and then I can have as many pages as I need to moving forward to get that done. So very simple for September. I realize this is a much simplified setup for me particularly, but if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you are not already subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the bell notification down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Here are a couple more videos I think you might enjoy.